welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we are going to invite you to participate in or come watch a wonderful, inclusive volleyball tournament that has a great purpose. My guests are Andy Pai and Heather Carter.
Yes, ma'am.
And you guys are going to tell us all about this. Andy, why don't you start? Because you're the organizing person behind this.
Right. Well, thank you. Get Set for All is hosting their third annual Sitting Volleyball Tournament at beautiful Fort Monroe. And what we do is it started off as a Wounded Warrior fundraising tournament, but what we've seen over the years is it's more of an inclusive. We invite everybody around the community, just come out and play and just have fun. It's tripled and it's getting bigger every year, and it's just so much fun to participate in. So.
How many teams did you have last year?
Last year we had 8. This year we're cutting it off at 10 because of the size of the gym of Fort Monroe. But we have teams from Denmark, Texas, Amazon, Seattle. We have just all over the United States, Wounded Warriors, and just the community playing.
Wow. And this is like good. Like, you know, you don't want like me or people like that, right?
Absolutely. It's inclusive.
You are so
and you're a star.
open.
You're a star. So we have players who are played in the Olympics, Paralympics, but then we also have players that have never played at all. So that's what it's all about. The tournament is all about inclusion. We want everybody to come out there and have fun and participate, and just celebrate the Wounded Warriors, and also having fun playing sitting volleyball.
Tell us how sitting volleyball works. Like if we can't picture it in our mind, and I hope we can show some footage of one of your practices. But
what it is, it's just a smaller area. Still 6 people like volleyball. There's only a few differences. It's a smaller net, smaller area. You have to sit on your behind and then move around. And so it's just very similar to standing volleyball, except it's just a shorter area and it's harder to move.
I bet it is. Heather, you've played. What is that like?
Yes, ma'am. There's a huge difference between playing standing, like he said, sitting on the floor and having to get yourself into a position to play the ball where you're already set, and then you're able to make accurate passes or overhead passes to your setter. It becomes difficult because your arms are taken at one point, but you still have to have enough time to make that accurate bump.
Yeah, like I would think, you've got this leg span where you're not even moving when you're playing normal volleyball. And also when you're setting, you're going down low. You can't go that low if you're sitting. You lose some of that bump space.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I saying that right?
And you'll see that it's a Paralympic sport, so you can have anybody with so many disability. Everybody has their own unique abilities, so everybody's a little bit different. And we always find that when we play that a lot of people that are double amputees, they're the ones that can move the most because a lot of their extra legs and appendages are out of the way.
Well, they can, kind of push up and scoot.
Yes, it's much easier for an amputee, or I should say a lower extremity amputee, playing volleyball than it is for an able-bodied, which is an individual that still has all of their limbs.
It is, the playing feels a lot easier.
Lifting as much, and it's not, I'd have to stick my legs. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm thinking maybe people want to come watch. Is there a fee to attend? Is it donation? Like, this is a good cause. I don't want people to just, skate by. They want to contribute.
We would love everybody to attend. There is no fee there. We were lucky enough to have sponsors like Reach Orthotics and Prosthetics that they help us. We bring warriors. We ask warriors to come. When they come, we provide lodging and food and the tournament play. We want them to enjoy themselves too. We want to serve those who served us, and that's what it's mainly about. And so when people come out and watch, it's loads of fun. At the Warrior Games where we coach and play, it's the biggest turnout for people to come, the audience come and watch. So it's just, everybody should come and watch. If you're not going to play, just enjoy yourself, no fee. And
but they could make a donation to the Wounded Warriors, couldn't they?
Well, we can make a donation to Get Set for All, because what we do,
Get Set for All, to help cover those costs.
Absolutely, because we provide a sustainable weekly adaptive sports program there at beautiful Fort Monroe in the Fort Monroe Community Center with the City of Hampton, where we can have these adaptive sports and people can come whenever they're willing and ready to play.
And that's something that we've talked about before, but just to recap it, that program is weekly at the Fort Monroe Community Center. When is it?
We have different days. They've allowed us to have different days.
Okay.
Tuesdays we provide like today's pickleball there. I just had to set up for that. Tuesday is bocce and wheelchair basketball, and then Saturdays is inclusive from sitting volleyball, bocce, wheelchair basketball, yoga. We want everybody to come there, and so if we're a wounded warrior or if we're a disabled person, we have people that come there with them. They're caretakers that need that respite also.
Yeah.
So we provide that yoga for them so they can go there and just relax as we take care of the people playing.
And that is open. That is not just wounded warriors. That is anyone in the community.
And if they go on to, we created this site to be able to have all of the disabled sports and activities around. So if they were to go on to hradaptivesports.com, I've put up the entire schedule for the Get Set for All events that they do every day, the practices, where they're at, who's the organizer for the event. And so, like he said, everything is free to the community, whether you're a military or a civilian.
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
It's there for when people, like if she's injured, she can't play now, but when she's done, it's there for when she shows up.
Absolutely.
Can we talk about your injuries, Heather?
Sure.
First, the obvious one.
Yes, ma'am.
The one we can see right now.
Of course.
It's keeping you from being in this tournament. What happened?
So unfortunately, last year while I was attending the Eglin Air Force Base training camp for the Air Force, we had been there to practice and for our coaches to see how much work we've been putting in to prepare for both the Warrior Games that happened last year as well as the Invictus Games that I was able to partake in October. And so while we were training for field, I do sitting, shot put, and discus. We didn't realize that my pectoral muscle wasn't working correctly throughout all these years. So the trainer had come over and did some exercises to stimulate it. And so when we did that, I was able to throw further. But because that muscle hadn't been used in so long, I ended up having torn it in the process.
Oh.
So, but I was able to push off the surgery for about a year and a half, and so I just had it a couple weeks ago so that way I could get back to 100% and return to doing the sports with Get Set for All, but just returning to having that competitive nature with all of the friends and stuff that we've been able to make since doing these programs.
And you are Air Force veteran?
Yes, ma'am.
And where did you serve? What did you do? Tell us your story. It's a little unique.
Sure, yes. So I had originally joined in 2008 out of Langley Air Force Base. I went down to, obviously, basic training and then to tech school, and so I was an intelligence and communications analyst. So I did a lot of our just all around, they always joke about it being spy work, but it was just always so intriguing to me, and I was actually a medical student before I joined. But after going through the training and finishing, I had been assigned up to Buckley Air Force Base. And so while I was there, I had worked as an intelligence analyst and then also played softball with the Air Force team, which unfortunately led to my injury in 2010. And originally it was a what was called a tib-fib plateau closed fracture. And unfortunately with all the surgeries, we weren't able to get myself to be able to return to normal or return to just being able to walk in general without the pain. And so we did about 4.5 years of limb salvage, and in 2014 I elected to become an above-the-knee amputee.
You went through a lot to get to that point.
Yes,
what was, and I know you can't possibly speak for everybody who's been through this, but you also, through your job, work with folks. What is that struggle like? How was it for you, who has been active and involved in sports your whole life?
Sure. So a lot of stuff, like when I go and see patients, even with reach orthotics and prosthetics, is I want to ask the patients, what was your life like before, or things that they enjoyed, things that, necessarily, are you scared? Do you have questions? A lot of them is they're traveling into an unknown territory. So you have the reservations, you have that curiosity, but also that fear of, will you be the success rate? Will you add to the statistic for success, or will your story unfortunately not have that success and kind of be what they call a failure? And it's not where they're a failure as a person, it's just their residual limb unfortunately wasn't able to either be fitted with the prostheses, or the pain level that they had was not taken away by the amputation itself. And that's usually the fear with electives, is this going to take away the pain, or is it going to add to more chronic regional pain syndrome, CRPS.
So, yeah, that's got to be a tough choice because you don't know what the outcome's going to be.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're injured and there's no choice, the doctor says you have to do this, you're relieved of that responsibility because someone else has said that's it. You had to make a choice.
Yes.
I'd not thought about that.
We've heard so many stories over the time of people and the outcome of them becoming an amputee has just worked out the best for them.
Yes.
Just because they've got all the medicines and you know, and just the pain has been so much better, and the movement has been increased also.
Yes, yes. You lose a lot of that, especially during the time frame that people are going through limb salvage, which is the process where the doctors and the patients, you know, they're working to try to save someone's limb so that they don't have to become an amputee, because as everyone knows, once you remove the limb, you can't go back and reattach it. Yeah. So especially for electives is you'll go through these appointments with the psych ward, so to speak, psychologist, psychiatrist, just so that they can make sure that if you're electing to do this, that you're of rational mind, that you will be able to heal afterwards, and that it's not going to bring you into a darker hole than where you're already at. But limb salvage, there's been probably 2 or 3 people maybe that I've met the entire time that I've been an amputee that have said they wish they had kept their limb versus amputating. But the majority of us that have gone through limb salvage wish we had stuck and had the amputation much sooner than what we had. But at the same time, I don't regret for a second of having my amputation. It's opened so many doors. We've been able to work with so many great organizations and partake in these sports again and really get who I was back. When I lost completely who I was during that 4.5 years. You know, I became a hermit and isolated, angry.
And were you able to walk during that time, or were you in so much pain you didn't have full functionality anyway?
So I didn't have full functionality. I went years with having to use canes, crutches, wheelchairs, everything, and I wasn't able to even walk for 10 minutes, or I paid for it for about 3 days with the swelling and just pain. So.
Wow. It is amazing. And then what an interesting career switch for you, because obviously that ended your career in the military. You couldn't, get back to full functionality.
Yes, ma'am.
But you had been through most of a college career and had a lot of medical background.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been through all of your own medical. How perfect that you ended up at Reach. Wow.
Well, they came out, Reach, so I played with and now I'm a player coach with America's amputee softball team, the USA Patriots, which was formerly known as the Wounded Warrior amputee softball team. And so I had begun a return to the field and kind of loved that passion with them and being able to really help amputees and with the kids camp and stuff as we teach children that are limb deficient and amputees how to play the game. And so being able to work with Get Set for All and kind of switching career fields from intelligence to Reach and working with orthotics and prosthetic services, it almost was a no-brainer for me. I love intelligence, but you don't really get that satisfaction of being able to really help people. Your job is extremely important in the intelligence field, but you don't get to, talk about your job when you go home. It's a very dark place to kind of be and work all the time. And it does have that effect to cause issues between being able to separate your personal and your professional careers from each other. Whereas with Reach and working with Get Set for All, I get to work with people and really see the differences that we make, not only in just their physical aptitude of being active, but also emotionally. Because like I tell a lot of people is physiologically we can get over anything. The biggest battle that we have is psychological. And that's the one thing that we really see the difference in with Get Set for All and with the sports that they host, along with having these different tournaments, golf, volleyball, basketball, or having the Adaptive Sports Day, is you're treating not only the person physically, but you're treating them mentally as well.
And what role does sports have in that mental piece? Because there's been a lot of studies for healthy people even about the role of being active, but particularly for someone who's been through a kind of physical trauma like that.
Absolutely. Even for people that come out to Warrior Games, as we've seen, you do have the people that were former athletes that have been able to get back in this arena. Now, we always tell people is you can return to sports that you had done previously, obviously.
Like you,
by
softball.
choice. Yes, ma'am.
That's
yes.
hard to play, I would think.
It is. But the biggest thing, though, is when you do sports that you typically did before your injury, is you always compare your skill level now to what you were before. And so for softball, I'll never return to how I used to play. So for me, I began tearing myself down mentally and physically and everything on the field because I knew what I needed to do, but I couldn't figure out how to get this body, this knee, to do what I needed. So I ended up speaking to my team and to the board and asking if I could become a coach versus being a player. I love this game. I have knowledge of this game, and I love to be able to teach it, but I don't have the skill to play it anymore. The glove and my arm are still there, but running, batting, everything like that is very difficult. But for being able to do Warrior Games it introduced me to other adaptive and alternative sports. And that's where, like with volleyball, is I played intermittently growing up. I wasn't a huge volleyball player prior to my injury. And so doing it post is I really don't have anything to compare my skill to from before to now. And so with it is you have archery and rowing and shooting, we have rugby and everything like that, to whereas even for people that weren't athletes prior to getting hurt while they were in the service or for anything, because patients they're wounded, ill, or injured. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all amputees. They're not all visible wounds. We have the invisible wounds of war, which is what General
PTSD or anything else.
PTSD,
Traumatic
cancer, So it's an array of injuries, illnesses, and wounds for the individuals themselves, but it provides them alternatives to being able to just be out with people like themselves, because sympathy which is for people that really don't know what you're going through, haven't experienced it themselves. And like I always say, is sympathy helps, but empathy heals. And that's what you're going to get from everybody that's the athletes, that are the coaches that are at these events. They understand what you're going through, maybe not personally, but they've seen it before. They've had family members that have endured it and like that. So it's the Warrior Games and Invictus Games, it's all about healing the person on the outside and on the inside, and their caregivers as well.
Yeah, we've seen it over time, and adaptive sports just does that, whether it be the physically or the psychologically, but just emotionally, and it gives that success rate of thinking, hey, I can do this again, so I can meet some goals that might not be the same, but it's going to be the new ones, and they can meet those and just feel that success and know that they accomplished something again. And we provide that all the time at Fort Monroe, and with that, we just have people come out there. We have people that were athletes, like she mentioned, her good friend who was a football star, not a star, but he played football over at Prentice School, and now he's working in the pipeline for wheelchair basketball and also sitting volleyball. So. And now he's meeting those needs that he had before. His old him is coming out again, his competitive edge.
And I would think too, because particularly, at Fort Monroe with the adaptive sports programs, where it isn't all high-level military-type athletes, you're mixing with members of the community and younger people. There's a little bit of giving back. There's a little bit of that coaching and sharing and mentoring. So you're not your old self, but you've got new things that you're good at and that you're giving and sharing, and that's
we have like a tri-level there where we have people come out and just play, just recreation, just have fun, and then we have another level where you start getting good and you want more, and then we also have people who are in the pipeline that for the Paralympics. So you want to be at the top level and elite level, we can train you also.
And you do that. I mean, you coach some teams that go to the Paralympics and obviously Invictus Warrior Games, national, international kinds of competition.
We do, absolutely.
And we can watch some of that.
Everybody can watch that, absolutely. Come to Fort Monroe and see everything. It's absolutely fun. Linda Gomez, who's the president of Get Set For All, and myself, we're in the pipeline Paralympic coaching staff for the pipeline for sitting volleyball. Then we've also been USA Volleyball for over 30 years each, so we've been around for a little bit, not to say, but so yes, we can coach, and I've been a Winter Warrior coach since 2010. She has been for the last 6 years, so we've been involved and just see the successes and the smiles that we see from the athletes when they achieve something, and see that huge difference. And it's not always smiles. A lot of times it's tears coming out of their eyes going, hey.
But it's always the happy tears.
But it's the happy tears. Yeah, it's just the success you get and just being part of that and watching from the stands and going, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. Yeah. You just don't know what you see and what you're going to see until how do they do that?
The biggest thing with it, I think, is when, especially for retirees and veterans that do the Warrior Games, obviously, like, we're no longer in the service, and sometimes that wasn't by choice. Myself, that wasn't by choice. And so we feel like we lost that sense of camaraderie, that family. Because, you have the family that you're born into, but you have the family that you choose. And so our relationships together as military members, and obviously there's going to be the fun, joking with each other over branches and everything, but regardless, we're all a close-knit family. But with veterans, you lost that military idea, that camaraderie. And so being able to attend these games and being with a team, especially for the team sports that are there, is you feel like you're getting that love back. And that's what most people miss. Even if you talk to people that discharged from the service, separated, anything like that, is they may not have liked some of the steps of what they saw in, but the one thing you'll always hear them say that they miss is the camaraderie, is that brother and the sisterhood.
And that sense of purpose. I mean, that's one of the things that I keep reading, is that military members come out and they don't necessarily know what the goal is anymore, like in the broader community at large. So yeah, this gives them purpose and place and people and all those things that are important to all of us.
Absolutely.
And it is all about the community.
It's so intense,
Absolutely. It is all about the community again, because, I mean, the military, we have that, and that brings it in there. And how many times have you gone out in the city and seen someone, and a lot of people in the community don't have anywhere to go. So if they're disabled out there, they're going, what can I do? Yeah. There's just not a lot of things for them. So there is something for them at Fort Monroe, and gets that for all. And then, with the help of Reach Orthotics, we all bring people together. We want people to be the new them, to enjoy their life, to see what they can do. So they come there and we have people from 14 years old that play, sitting volleyball and wheelchair basketball, all the way up to 80+ years old playing bocce. We have a bocce tournament coming up with the VA hospital, with the Hampton hospital, VA hospital. We have with the Paralyzed Veterans of America, with USA Bocce, we're going to have a bocce tournament. So just a lot of things happening there to help out the community and everyone, whether it be the VA, the military, or just any disabled person around.
But a lot of it too, though, is when people tend to look at our adaptive sports, or they think about bocce ball, and a lot of people don't know what bocce ball is, but they think that you have to be young and active. And a lot of these sports, like we said with bocce, is you don't have to be. So it's literally, accepting of every level of activity. But like he said, the biggest thing is, we do have some of the older crowd that does come out and play bocce ball, but at least for that little bit, is they're around other people. So regardless of whether they communicate with each other, they're still physically playing with each other, and it tends to open them up. And it's, we're not about where you have the cutoffs of when you can start or when you are no longer able to age-wise, is come out.
Right, like as you're talking, I'm thinking people who've had a stroke. Like, because at first you think wounded warriors, and then it grows to kids, and then, but yeah, older people who've had a stroke maybe can't do some of the bigger physical activities, but yeah, bocce takes like one arm. You could be sitting. There's a whole lot of things that I think, if you're not used to thinking along those lines, you don't think along those lines. So you don't know what is possible until you and other people begin to push those boundaries and figure it out.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. I mean, that's really huge, to helping people live real lives.
Yes, it's a pleasure. I mean, we get such a huge feeling just participating and helping them. I mean, we're here to serve, so.
Thank you. Well, do you guys have anything else to say before we wrap up? I know we've gone long. I always get so excited when I talk to you.
Yes. Go ahead, you first. Ladies first.
Honestly, I think a lot of it is just come out. We love to have everybody. We love to meet our community and stuff, and we've had a lot of connections that have come out for sports previously. But the focus with these is, the media's focus a lot is to kind of show this separation between military and civilians. And so with these programs, with Reach Orthotics and Prosthetics doing 17 years of treatment for military and civilians, with Get Set for All, having these organizations and these tournaments and these sports to bring these communities back together, is we want to show that love and create that relationship, that healthy relationship again between both the military and the civilians of the community. So it's, please come out and come either partake or come out and watch. Yes.
Well, I would just love to say thank you for letting us be here. And we looking forward to seeing everybody at Sit to Hit, and it's again our third annual tournament. And we appreciate everyone coming here. The military fly in here just to play volleyball for a day and to be taken care of. And, so we just ask that you get here, we'll take care of you, we'll put you in lodge, and we'll play and have fun, and have play with the same people that you were used to, and just miss that. And this year we have a team, a Wounded Warrior from Denmark, him and a few other people are flying in from Denmark to play, and there's people from the United States coming around, they want to play. So we need all the support we can get, whether it be donations and sponsorships, because it takes time and takes effort to get everybody in here and to support them. So it's just loads of fun. We can have anywhere from just come out and play. Get on getsetforall.org and see what's available to you. We have a Facebook also. Just get on there and see. That's updated all the time with all the pictures and everything that's going on. So just come out, be involved, and if you know someone, if you're able-bodied, come out also. But if you're disabled, if you know someone's disabled, bring them out there, and just to have loads of fun. It's all about serving and having fun.
Thank you. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I hope you will come out to this tournament, stop by, watch and play. We in this country are a society that reveres our athletes and pays our professional athletes millions, bazillions of dollars. And we have a chance to see athletes with real heart here. And they don't earn millions and bazillions of dollars, but we can show them that they're worth it and that we care. So please come out and support this organization at the tournament and at other times as well when they're at Fort Monroe. Thanks for watching.